and I think it's super smart for a company to test this, because right now, if you are, let's say you're an established business and you have all your employees here, and then comes a company that has the same brain power and they're established maybe hybrid or sort of remote, and their talent costs 50%, then they have a very big strategic advantage over, and there's a very good case, I believe, one of the really good cases that we see on our phones every day is Bolt. Uber, San Francisco based, paying 200K salaries to software engineers. Bolt is paying a fraction, and that's the biggest differentiator in why they can make the product so cheap. And that's why we all switched to Bolt over the last few months.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to this one-off podcast where we explore the why, how and the what on the Talent Acceleration Platform, or short TAP. Since the introduction onto the initiative, TAP has been partnering with high potential talent, educational partners and businesses. And TAP is not your typical startup you hear about every day. It's a special story that we'll unpack here today. And already they walk the talk and give a lot of interesting perspectives. So whether you're a partner, potential student, or maybe you're seeking digital talent for your team or business, you'll enjoy the upcoming story and probably will leave you inspired. So I'm joined by Christian, co-founder of TAP. Welcome, Christian.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
And also a welcome to Roland, the head of marketing at TAP.
Thank you.
Yeah, and of course, last but not least, Michael, the business manager of the Adwise Academy, joining as a digital partner for the program. Also welcome.
Thank you.
And maybe first to start off with you, Christian, because what does TAP actually do right at this moment? What is the mission and vision, and what are you doing?
Yeah. So quite simply, we are connecting high potential individuals from underserved communities to high-tech companies. Typically progressive companies who are looking outside their geographies to find talent that is not only ambitious, smart, but also very diverse. And we are helping in that in that connection.
Yeah, okay. And what does TAP really solve and add value there in that matching system? What does it do to provide value to both of the ends, like the candidates or potential students and the businesses?
Yeah, you said it well, because it's two ends that you have to connect. So on the student side, we are giving them the tools to be able to reach that professional level that companies are expecting of high potential individuals. So that means that we help them polish certain skills, such as domain specific but professional skills as well. Now these guys are really, really smart, so when we do that, we actually see much more than your typical person, because we're really picking the top brains. Yeah. And at the same time, we bring the companies to the table and we explain to them how this is so beneficial for the businesses, because obviously it's highly profitable as a company to have talent that is not only very ambitious and is going to deliver a lot of value, but also it's less expensive. So companies are realizing that, and with the remote era becoming a thing, I think it's a massive opportunity if you are progressive and strategically savvy to do this.
Okay, and because there's also, besides just a strong connection to business needs, there's a lot of human and societal impact as well, and I think that also is conveyed in the origin story. Like, where do you start? How did this initiative, originate? Because you're not that old of a company. You already made a lot of impact, but it started in 2019 or 18.
2019. I was having this problem of shortage of talent myself. I was starting a company in data company.
So you were a business yourself, so you know what.
So I was going through this problem of trying to build a company but not having talent, and we were looking for software engineers, me and my Swedish co-founder at the time, and it was impossible. And we were gonna spend basically all our life savings into building the product that we were not even sure if it was gonna work. So it's an early stage startup, right?
Cash-strapped business.
And we really looked around everywhere, and in this process of looking around, we found a guy who actually went to school with us, and he was Palestinian. He was starting his IT outsourcing company out of Palestine. I'm half Palestinian myself, half German, so I found it super interesting to actually explore this relationship and see what's going on. And I decided to work with him. We and my co-founder at the time started working with him. And 6 months later, we had this amazing product. We were super happy with everything that we went through. The guys on the other side were just amazing. And at some point, this guy, Jafar, invited me and the Swedish guy to go to Palestine. And obviously, for me, it was an amazing opportunity, so I went. And yeah, it's very interesting because a lot of people say if you go to Palestine, you will come back completely changed. And what happened when we got there, we immediately went from the airport to crossing into the West Bank. And you immediately see the blockades, the army blockades, the what people call it, well, it's the settlements or the colonialism or whatever. That's actually a very interesting topic right now because we are seeing how that part of the world is very unstable, and it's largely because there is no opportunities. When we went to Palestine, when we met this guy, we realized that people had so much potential, but there was just no way to connect that potential with actually where that potential could flourish. And I came back to the Netherlands, and I was hearing a lot of voices about empowering people in that part of the world, empowering Palestinians. And that's when I realized that maybe there might be an opportunity. So the first people to support us were the Dutch government. They supported us with a small amount of money to kick off a program to help connect the two sides, and that turned into TAP.
Yeah. So it's really about that classic story, like not giving people fish, but learning them how to fish, for example, that TAP also provides. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's very interesting because we proved the concept of TAP for a couple of years, and then we actually made it into a real company because this was not the initial idea that my friend had, who we started the company with. And he started, we started looking for financing for this idea, and actually in 2022, late 2022, we got backing from venture capital funding and also government to have enough runway and enough money to train 500 people. So right now we're training about 500 people, and because we are a startup and we're looking to scale, and we're looking to scale in a very high quality way and having a kind of like an approach that is real, like and a business approach. We're looking for partners to do this with. So we said, okay, how can we actually train so many people if we're not doing it with other people who we think are going to help us be successful? And that's when we found you guys, Adwise, to help us in this journey.
Yeah. So you got a call.
Oh, actually, I got an email from Roland.
Yeah, Roland.
Early 2023, I think, and I got a simple email with saying, "Would you like to educate students in the Middle East or in Palestine?" So I'm going like, that's a strange email. And I organized a call with Roland, and within a few minutes I was yes, let's do this. It's a fantastic opportunity for us as well, but especially to help the students in those areas. Yeah.
So what were you looking for, Roland, when reaching out? Because of course we're a digital agency, but you were looking for.
I was looking for a partner that was knowledgeable, of course, about the topic. So we needed a partner that was leading in this space, and more importantly, even connecting with what we do, right? Connecting with the mission and with the impact that we're trying to make. So that's also why it was a fairly simple message indeed. Very straight to the point, like, okay, this is what we do, this is what we're looking for, and we love to speak. And I think I reached out to three organizations or three agencies, and you were the only one to respond, which was kind of the point. So
exactly. You tailored the message, like not just a commercial thing, but also do you believe in this vision and mission for the students?
Yeah. So we were not saying, okay, you're going to make this amount of money. No, it was really about like, okay, this is what we're doing, and we're looking for somebody to help us do this. That was the most important thing. And I remember very clearly our first conversation indeed as well, in which I could sense that you guys were like exploring, like, okay, what is this and how serious is it? And I remember also being on the road somewhere in Amsterdam. I was in this very noisy coffee shop, I think, coffee place, let's say. And so yeah, it was very very much fun as well. So we connected on a personal level as well, and from there on forward.
And what are the skills in the program, or what do the students learn? How do the students benefit? How do the businesses benefit? So what's the program that has been set up?
Well, if I look at the marketing traineeship, we had a look in the market, which has the biggest demand in the Netherlands, but also in Europe, and from that demand on, we made a program, and so like it's strategic, but it's also like Google Analytics and advertising, social advertising. So there are different topics that we teach the students.
So they are trained to be full-on digital marketeers on all aspects.
Yeah, exactly.
All round. Yeah, definitely. And with the most sought after skills,
profiles, and really finding that gap. Yeah.
And what's interesting about what we're doing is that we really look at potential. So we go back to Palestine, but obviously with the idea to expand to Lebanon and Jordan. We actually expanded to Jordan about a month ago, and it was really, really successful. And the idea is that we have built a bit of a machine, a process, software, and all the tools to identify talent. And then that talent obviously has different backgrounds. So if we have software engineers, we have business development people or business people. Yeah,
because there are more like digital marketing is one of the aspects, but it's also software and other programs.
Correct, exactly. So it's very interesting because if you think about this whole remote industry kind of developing, the idea was that this work of remote can only be done in the sense that you can code from outside, right? But we've learned that actually you can do anything from outside. You can do anything remotely. So the idea was, okay, what about looking at the whole population rather than just looking at the software engineers or people who studied STEM or these kind of things, and let's look at everyone and let's connect them with several partners. We have a partner in software, we have a partner in digital marketing, we have a partner in sales, and let all the people have access to the market, and not only just the people who studied.
Yeah, that's what you usually see. That's what I mentioned at the start. It's not like the typical like remote offshoring business of some software development and coding and but really high involvement, multiple disciplines, and really having a new colleague.
Exactly. And I think it's also good to mention that it's not only digital marketing where they get a training in, but also in the soft skills and
exactly.
So it's not just the technical knowledge, but also bridging the gap between the international market and this
so they come prepared, right? For
exactly.
The work.
So it's about teamwork, it's about communication, it's about professionalism, things like that. So really a way to bring people closer to the international markets and get them really job ready. And that's something that is really working very well.
Yeah, because let's talk about the tappers. You refer to them, right? The students themselves. Because I internally, of course, also have colleagues who provide training to them, and I always hear back like those people are so incredibly motivated and eager to learn. There's like no offense to the European regular students, but on average, like they are in the top 5% maybe of other students who are really so proactive. So it's really fun to work with them, of course. But I believe you already have some examples from the first, second, or third cohorts of people who already have had amazing stories that started with the TAP programs, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's all over the place. It's I think everybody that gets placed has their own story, and it's all very transformative, right? Yeah. So you see people coming in, looking at the digital marketing cohort specifically, to make it specific. Like you see people coming in that are maybe a bit shy or like they are not too sure about how to move forward or who they are, and then within a few months' time you see this transformation, and it's truly remarkable. So I've been a mentor myself as well, so I've been very close to one person in this digital marketing program, and you just see day by day how this person is growing and getting more confident and outspoken, and writing out ambitions and the steps to get there. And it's very humbling as a person who has had like all the privilege in the world, right?
Yeah.
Because for us, it comes very normal that okay, you go to school, you choose whichever school you want, most of us, and then you do that, and then after that you go to the job market, and there's so much,
there's
right?
so much opportunity.
You can do whatever
here,
you want, basically, and you will get the opportunity even if you don't work that hard. And for people in Palestine, it's the complete opposite. So they are looking for this opportunity, and whenever they get it, they fully grasp it, and they go all out. And we see and hear back from companies hiring from us that this has been one of the most surprising things for them as well. The amount of impact that people are making on the company and on the team and on the processes, basically on everything. That impact is just really, really big, and that's very, very cool to see, of course.
Yeah, we've seen companies. You would think this because of the story of outsourcing and so on. You would think that maybe companies are not so advanced, and they think, oh, you do outsourcing only for the other tasks. But really, we see, like you were saying, these guys become 100% part of the team, especially when you're talking about remote work. There's 100% connection between the company and the individual.
A high degree of involvement, really feeling like a team member.
It's not like you actually have them completely into the company. So if you guys are not familiar with like remote work, there's companies that are fully remote. So there's guys the founder might be in Berlin, and the other guy might be in Austria, and the other guy is going to be in Lebanon, and this is how these companies are built. What's interesting also is that if you build a remote company, you understand how the world works remotely, and that's a market on its own, right?
Yeah.
So there's this whole movement about going to remote that is really interesting. And I think we're going to see so much benefit from it.
Because there's like also the international culture that you bring into the company.
Definitely.
Also indeed the remote working, different time zones, different customer groups, etc.
Yeah, you hear a lot about the positive impact on teams, right?
Yeah.
And that is what we see up close, also within TAP, of course, because we're a remote company ourselves as well. But when you bring people from different countries and different cultures, you see something very special happen, and you see people bringing parts of their own culture into the team, and you learn from each other, and you see that you grow in terms of empathy or the way that you look at other parts of the world, and overall it just makes you a better person as well. And you give that back again, right? So it's a bit of a loop that way that continues to bring a positive influence.
Yeah. And is there also some resistance from companies or into the remote work? Because of course we had COVID. Everybody needed to remote work. I think that made also a huge transition, of course, for the acceptance of remote work. We also hear stories like people coming back into the office. How does that influence this whole approach?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. We believe this is happening, right? Because who gets the microphone is Amazon and Booking and all these big companies. They're talking about their return to on-site work, but it's actually not happening as much as we are reading. A lot of other companies that don't have the same amount of brand power or capital and so on, they're actually still wanting to grow, and they can't compete with the salaries that Google or Booking might be giving, or they're actually just smarter because they say, okay, I can get better talent for cheaper, and then just go outside. And these guys can benefit from having much larger workforces, much more motivated workforces. So I think the story we're reading about the return to the office is actually very much, again, not seeing the full picture. And we see actually in the last month of TAP, so we've been having the highest rates of employment we've seen ever. So it's really speaking to the stories we're telling and how we are explaining how the impact is two-sided. And it's just getting more and more companies to come back. And now even companies who hired a year ago are coming back for the second or the third or the fourth TAPper.
There's definitely been a transition, like COVID. Maybe there was a little bit of a cutback, like some people should get back into the office, but the overall trend is definitely gearing towards the remote part. One notion you also mentioned is like the notion of remote land, this concept. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so a lot of the reasons why there's so much the story of building nations and imperialism and colonialism and all these things that sort of were used or needed back in the days to organize people and so on. That's actually now reaching a pretty bad limit where you are seeing all the other problems that this brings, right? But because of technology, another place is being created simultaneously where there's no borders, there's no politics, there's no race, there's nothing except the human being and what they bring to the table. And we call this place remote land. And this is where we are actually trying to create the jobs. We believe that remote land is on its own, this other network or this other thing that is growing, and we actually...
That sounds a bit like the promise of the internet in the early days, but now it's like real.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. No, I mean, and I think it's super smart for a company to test this, because right now, if you are, let's say you're an established business and you have all your employees here, and then comes a company that has the same brain power and they're established maybe hybrid or sort of remote and their talent costs 50%, then they have a very big strategic advantage over, and there's a very good case, I believe, one of the really good cases that we see on our phones every day is Bolt. Uber, San Francisco based, paying 200K salaries to software engineers. Bolt is paying a fraction, and that's the biggest differentiator in why they can make the product so cheap. And that's why we all switched to Bolt over the last few months.
Oh, cool. So this is happening as we speak. How many placements is TAP currently providing at the moment?
We are at about 120 and counting. So every week we get 2 to 3 more placements. It's amazing to see our Slack or our LinkedIn. We celebrate the placements a lot. And today or yesterday we had 2 guys placed in France. So remotely in a French health tech company. So that was, I feel like, the first time we had a French company. And every time it's a new country, it's a new type of startup, it's a new type of job, and it's really, really fascinating.
Exciting
remote land getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Planting a flag in remote land.
Which was not really...
The population of remote land is growing and expanding.
It was not about creating more space for it, but indeed, it's happening.
It's big enough. So what's next for TAP? Looking at the future, you're talking about also system scaling, making more and broader impact. How do you? What do you see for the coming future?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are going through tough times right now as a company, starting in Palestine and having our people in Palestine, and but again, it's something that we know that we can solve, that we are smart enough, we are human enough to actually go to the root cause and try to figure out. So as companies trying to, use a strategy that is not only impact CSR type of thing, but also actually a business decision that is quite strategic.
Both,
I mean, we see more and more companies adopting what we're doing. So us being able to tell more stories like we are doing right now, getting more people like Adwise, ultra professional companies who have credibility, and them supporting us in our journey to grow. So we see that growing. We also see government interest in what we're doing, because the classical way of sending money to places that are in need is just pure aid, and we know what happens with aid. It just sort of disappears on the way there. And when you're connecting people with jobs, you're sending the same amounts of money, or if not more, and actually you're building an amazing bridge. So we see collaborations with government being important, people like you guys as well, and we just see the scaling of the company by ways of being not only strategic and startup-like and so on, and innovative, but also having the support that we feel right now in this table, being able to have a chat with Adwise, one of the best, And the fact that you just jumped in and you just did it, just believing in something that is greater than what that we are individually. And I think we're very thankful. And any other thoughts? Maybe.
Yeah, what would be the call to action to other businesses listening in?
Yeah. Definitely to explore more, of course, through our website, tapcareers.io, or just search for Tap Careers in Google. You will find us. And we have all the information there, and the best way is to connect with us through the website. And to have an initial meeting.
And also have a discussion like, how does this work? If you're already a remote company, you probably know where you're starting at, but if you're interested, I think you can give some guidance on how to...
Yeah, we have seen all situations, right? Yeah. So we know we can adapt and we can guide you, and we can make sure that you can really do something special through the hiring of talent that you are probably going to do anyway. But you're going to do it in a very positive and impactful way, not only for your company, but also for people that really need it and deserve it as well. Yep. So yeah, that will be the most important thing to do.
Yep. Yeah. And students alike, similar story.
Basically the same. Yeah. So we're gonna start new cohorts, of course, all the time. So we typically start all of our programs at the same time with new groups of people. So students that are from the places, of course, that we look at currently, Palestine and Jordan, of course, can apply always through our website. Yeah. And when you look at the future, I think what we see happening in the past couple of months is that the growth is very organic as well. So it's not about us like paying to spread the word or anything like that. It's really about like people getting behind this, and it's becoming a bit of movement. And we see students, for example, but also companies just coming in to all these different channels and from all different directions without us putting in a lot of work anymore. And that's super valuable to see, of course. Also something that we worked hard to get. So it's great to see that it's working. Yeah.
Well, sounds like a future also of great promises, ambition, and of course you as a listener as well. Then we'll close up with that in the hope that you will also become a part of that movement and community that the TAP is creating. And again, if you're interested in further information, you can find it at tapcareers.io. And so you guys all, thank you for having the great conversation and stories. And you as a listener, thank you for listening or watching, and see you next time.